Hi, I'm Carol Allen, Vedic Astrologer, and you're here because you got your right man report. Yay! And I want to help you get as much out of it as possible. Now, you've probably noticed there are 5 things in your report that are given bars, and they're either colored yellow, green, or red. Green is just like street signs, it's just like traffic lights, right? Green is green, all systems go. Yellow is like, ooh, prepare, proceed with caution. And red is like, stop. And the parts of your relationship that are the most important to pay attention to are any of the ones that are red. That's gonna be the area that's gonna bother you the most. Now, this report covers 15 things and only 5 of them are color-coded because they're the 5 most important. So let's go over those. The first one is called respect. It could have also been called who's the leader. It has to do with, are you the initiator? Are you the pursuer? Or is he? The next one is called wavelength. This one has to do with, do you want the same things at the same time? Are you on the same page as a man? The next one's called obstacles. This one has to do with, will there be a lot of outside interference in the relationship? Or will your circumstances support you being together? The next one's called misfortunes. This one scares people because it sounds like calamities are going to strike. It doesn't so much mean like your house will fall down and your dog will die. It means more, can you move forward together, or is there always some big drama interrupting your relationship? The last one is called assertive pressure. And assertive pressure has to do with how much force do each of you have? Are you equally powerful, or is somebody dominating the other? Is somebody a mouse while the other is a lion? That's a problem. So these are the things to pay the most attention to. Now, like I said, they can be red, yellow, or green. If one is yellow, say for example, respect, a good example might be, respect might be yellow, and that can indicate that the woman has the faster process. I always say to women when I see this, honey, you always are ready for more than he's ready for before him, right? Or everything's your idea, right? Well, when it's yellow, it'll be her idea, but she won't so much mind. So it's not painful and it's not a deal breaker. When it's red, it's her idea and she minds. And the thing to understand if it's red is to take your time, sit back, give the guy a chance to initiate to you, because sometimes this becomes a vicious cycle where you have the faster process, you're ready before he's ready, then you dive in and initiate before he's even had a chance. So over time, he becomes more passive, sits back even more, you become more assertive and more aggressive, and you're always beating him to the punch. And then he feels disrespected and you feel unloved and everybody's miserable. So danger, danger. So hopefully that one's green. Okay, next is wavelength. Wavelength actually isn't just one of the steps. Of the 15 steps, 8 of them are actually given points for how good or bad they are between you. And I won't bore you with all the semantics of it, but you get an aggregated cumulative number, and it's anywhere up to 36 points. Now you want to get at least 20. Anything over 20 is excellent. People always say, oh, we only got 22. And I'm like, no. It's like you entered the land of the living. You crossed the border into the good country. That's all you need, is to cross the border. But if you don't have at least 20, it means you have a low wavelength score. And the wavelength has to do with, will you want the same things at the same time? As I said, will you feel like you're on the same page? Couples where the wavelength is high will actually feel like they finish each other's sentences. Like as soon as somebody thinks of something, the other one thinks of it too, or is right there, ready and willing to do what they want to do. It's just really easy. It just makes it effortless. So if this one's green, yay. If it's not, if it's like super low or red, that means you're not going to want the same things at the same time. And I just talked to a couple the other day where she wanted to go steady, he wanted to date and see other people. Then when he was ready to commit, she wasn't sure. Then she wanted to get married and he didn't. And now he wants to get married and she doesn't. It just makes a couple constantly do this. And I'm laughing, but it's really not funny. So, but it's not personal. And knowing it's not personal can take a lot of pain out of it. That one on its own is not a deal breaker. Okay, the next one, obstacles. Obstacles. If this one is red, it means you have constant outside interference, as I said. So your families won't like each other, or his family won't like you, or your family won't like him. Your friends will get in the way. He'll have other girlfriends or other women trying to lure him away. Your job will constantly send you out of town. You'll get sick. He'll get sick. Every time you put out a fire, it's like there's another fire. Now, this one has nothing to do with do you like each other or do you get along, but it can be every bit as important as that, because outside problems all the time can really drain a relationship and really come between a couple. So that one's tough, and I have seen very few couples ever be happy that have this be red. So if this one's red, this one tends to be a deal breaker. I'm really sorry, so watch out. The next one, misfortunes. Again, it's a kind of a misnomer. It doesn't mean like 7 plagues will visit your home or will, follow you at every turn. But it does mean if this one's red, you probably don't feel like your relationship unfolds smoothly. You probably feel like every time you come together, something goes wrong. And again, not like something outside of you, but like there's a disconnect between you. There's a misunderstanding. Somebody says something that the other person takes personally. There's always like big drama, and the big drama is always enough to totally pull you apart and make you doubt and question the relationship. If this one is red, in my experience, this one's the most painful. This one is a deal breaker. So if it's red, you really want to be careful to evaluate the relationship. The good has to be so good that the drama is worth it. And you've got to have nerves of steel or this relationship will exhaust you. If this one's green, yay. And if it's yellow, you're still gonna have drama, but it won't necessarily tear you apart. So proceed with caution if it's yellow. But if it's green, that's what we want. The next one, assertive pressure, has to do with the balance of power. What you ideally want with this one is to have the same assertive pressure. Now, we all in this technique have 9 ways that we can show like force. And you want to be, if you're 3, you want your partner to be 3 or 1 off. So if you're 3, they can be 4 or 2. But if you have it 3 ways and they have it 7, they're going to really run the show and they're going to discount your feedback. You might not necessarily feel run over by that person, but you won't feel like you have a voice as much as they do. And you won't feel like what you want is as important as what they want. An excellent example, I hate to say it, but Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, the rumor was always that Tom was in charge and Katie was like this little meek mouse. I gotta say, I think that was true. I think where there's smoke, there's fire, because when I looked at the two of them, he had it something like 6 or 7 ways and she had it 2 ways. So he definitely squelched her. Those are the most critical parts of the report. Like I said, any of these red, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it. And pay attention to the advice of how to handle it. But there's 3 parts of the report that are extra special. And they're called sense of purpose, innate giving, and magnetic attraction. Now, if your report is missing those, if it doesn't mention those, it means you don't have those with that particular person. But if it mentions those are the sweetest, most soulful, most yummy connections that you have. But the problem is if you have red, but you have 1 or more of those 3 really yummy things, you might be hooked on someone that is actually painful for you. But if you have all green and none of those 3 special things, you won't necessarily feel enough meaning and connection. So my hope and my wish is that you have all of these green and you have at least 1 of those really sweet, special things with somebody. That's the ideal right man report to have, and that's the man when you find that and he's treating you well and he wants to be with you, give him a chance or marry him today. Now, the thing to do with this report is really study it, really follow the advice if any of these are red or yellow, and really see if you can use it as a diagnostic tool to, just as you would with an MRI or lab tests or blood work, see if you can use it to improve the health of your relationship. No one can tell you whether or not you should be with someone or not. It's up to you to decide for yourself if that relationship is worth it and if the price you have to pay to be with that person is too high or if you're getting dividends that are way beyond the price you're paying. So it's my hope that this report is helpful to you. If you're still confused about your man or your relationship, the report, as you probably noticed, just talks about your relationship, the connection or disconnection between the two of you. I actually have another report called the Chart Your Heart or Chart His Heart report that can tell you if that guy's a good guy or not. Because the tricky thing is you can have perfect compatibility with an axe murderer, okay? You can have perfect compatibility with a philanderer, with a workaholic, with an alcoholic, with an angry guy, with a shutdown guy, with a selfish, insensitive guy. Just because he makes your toes curl and you laugh at all the same things doesn't mean he's somebody you should give your heart and soul. So go find out about all that fun stuff, and may the stars be smiling on your love life.